Hello guys, this is Gary here. Today I'm going to bring you a very fun, very classic Dark Magician deck profile. This deck is actually the very first deck I played in the locals when I returned to Yu-Gi-Oh! And this deck is very simple, very easy to play and very friendly to beginners that just came back to Yu-Gi-Oh! And let's start with the deck profile. First we have 3 Dark Magician, as this is the Dark Magician deck profile. There's 1 Dark Magician girl, 2 Magician of Dark Illusion. Next we have 1 Apprentice Illusion Magician, as this is a beginner's deck. You probably don't have multiples of this card, but she is really good as a hand trap and to search you the Dark Magician. 3 Rod search you every Dark Magician spell and trap card, very important in this deck. Most of the time, all your plays start with Magician's Rod. 2 Illusion Magic, as beginners you probably don't have all the good cards, so Illusion Magic is very handy to search you your Dark Magicians. 1 Soul Servant, this is probably all you have as a beginner. This is what I had back then. I opened up a full box of magical heroes and this is what I got from that. Very good card. You can search this card with your rod and draw with your Dark Magician and Dark Magician girls. Very useful card. 3 Circles, as this is a very classic Dark Magician deck. 3 circles to search out your Magician's Navigation, your Eternal Soul, and to banish your opponent's monster. 3 Magician Navigation, 3 to be able to search it off your circle, and you always want this in the hand to combo off with your Dark Magician and the circle. 2 Eternal Soul, this is your sustainability play. Once you have bring out Dark Magician with Navigation, then you can keep reviving Dark Magician with Eternal Soul. Don't activate this card before you activate Navigation. Just sit it there so it doesn't pop your field when it gets destroyed. Then we have 1 Dark Magic Attack, 1 Successor Soul. I had this back then and it's really handy sometimes going second, and when you're going first you can just always sit this card and interact with your opponent on their turn. Dark Magic Attack is really good. Spell and trap removal, you can search this card off your Eternal Soul. 3 Fake Veilers. Most of the time Fake Veiler is a hand trap. It's also a normal summon. When you do not have your rod, you can normal summon a Fake Veiler and tribute it and search Dark Magicians with Illusion Magic. For the one-offs we have Card of Demise, Monster Reborn, Called by the Grave, and Scapegoat. 1 Called by the Grave, this is very important to make sure your Magician Navigation can go off and summon the Dark Magicians. 1 Sword of Revealing Light, there's no reason not to play it in a classic deck. 2 Mystical Space Typhoon. This card is very important in this deck because Ash Blossom is what happened most of the time when you are using your Magician Navigation. So you always want to chain Mystical Space Typhoon to destroy your navigation. Therefore, they cannot ash your navigation, and then you can summon the Dark Magician with your navigation. Also, you can chain your Soul Servant to your navigation just as the Mystical Space Typhoon. This card is actually better than the Space Typhoon, so if you're able to get Soul Servant, you can use Soul Servant instead. 3 Pot of Duality. Because you're playing Dark Magician, so you probably want to get your combo pieces, so Pot of Duality come in very handy to draw that pieces from your deck. one magic hat. You can use this card to set your navigation on the field, and then once your navigation get popped and sent to the graveyard, and you have a Dark Magician on the field, you can actually negate every spell and trap with your Magician navigation. One Torrential Tribute, a good trap just to activate to stop your opponent's play, and also if you have your Magician of Dark Illusion, you can use activate this card and summon your Dark Illusion from your hand. Two Mirror Force. This is actually the most fun part of the deck. Yeah, when you play this deck and you set the Mirror Force and your opponent attack you, that is the best moment when you're playing a deck like this. So two Mirror Force to make sure you always have it in the hand and surprise your opponent. And that's it for the deck, guys. Play anything for your extra deck and side deck, and if you want to have some ideas, you can go check out my previous video. That was a fully competitive Dark Magician, but for this deck, I think the main deck itself is just good enough to play. That's it for the video, guys. If you like this deck, remember to press the thumb up button, and if you like the Dark Magician archetype, remember to subscribe to the channel and don't miss out on more amazing Dark Magician deck profiles.